Good morning. I'd like to, just before I start my remarks, I'd like to invite any clergy and other leaders of religious communities who are here today to come, my brothers and sisters, come stand up here by me, please. I saw a few of you out there. I know you're here. While they're gathering up here, I'll tell you that the Maine Council of Churches is a 72-year-old association of Maine's Roman Catholic and 8 Protestant denominations that has a long history of speaking out on issues of economic justice. Gather in.
Just clergy?
If you consider yourself a religious leader, please come and stand by my side. We do not judge how different churches do things. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for being here. The Maine Council of Churches is here today because we believe that budgets are moral documents. The proposed state budget is more than 600 pages of ethical choices. Choices about the relationship between the rich and the poor, the strong and the vulnerable, the powerful and the powerless.
Yes!
Making these choices is like running in a relay race. We've been handed a baton by those who've gone before us. That baton is the belief that we are capable of creating a moral society and a just economy. The baton is what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called the profound moral fact that each human life is of infinite value. And therefore, in the final analysis, the rich must not ignore the poor because the rich and the poor are tied together. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. 15 years ago, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops unanimously adopted a set of principles called an ethic for economic life. A short time later, the Maine Council of Churches also endorsed these principles and commended them to the people of Maine as we do to our elected leaders today. We say to them today, as we said then, the economy exists for the person, not the person for the economy. All economic choices should be judged by how they protect the life and dignity of the human person, how they support the family, and how they serve the common good. A fundamental moral measure of any economy is how the poor and vulnerable are faring. This is the baton that we've been handed in this race into the future in these tough economic times. The question is, will we drop out? Will we sit down by the side of the road? Will we be remembered as the generation that gave up on the project of creating a just and compassionate society and said, this is just too hard? To our elected leaders today, we say, as you consider each of these proposals, please ask yourself these questions. Does my vote mean that I am treating others as I would like to be treated? Would I be willing to trade places with a person whose life and health and well-being will be most affected by these cuts? Am I willing to trade places with the mother of a sick child that I can't afford to take to the doctor? A parent whose job is constantly at risk because of lack of transportation or childcare or needing to care for a seriously disabled family member and who may now become ineligible even for temporary assistance as well. Am I willing to trade places with a person who will lose their housing because they have to wait an additional 2 months to qualify for general assistance? Being tied together in a single moral destiny means, if you don't have shoes, I can't walk comfortably. Being tied together in a single moral destiny means, if I don't have health care, your well-being is at risk. It means if my child is hungry, the family that is Maine, the family we all belong to, will starve. We are the heirs of a great moral legacy that understands that people are so much more than isolated economic units, every one of us out for ourselves. We are, each one of us, so much more than a worker, an owner, an investor, a consumer, a taxpayer, a recipient of public benefits, a longtime resident, a new immigrant. Many of us fall into some or all of those categories over the period of a lifetime. But these are not the things that make us valuable as human beings, not in the eyes of God and not to one another. Our state budget as a moral document must reflect that profound fact and our commitment to honoring it. It says in the Christian scriptures, because we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight. Let us run with perseverance the race that is set before us. To our governor and our legislators, we say, don't drop the baton. Don't let Maine drop out of the generations-long advance toward a more just and compassionate way of living together in human community. Don't drop the baton, because people before us worked too hard to carry it along and hand it to us. Don't drop the baton, because we can carry it. We can improve it, and we can pass it on to our children. We can run and not get weary, because we know that the choices we make today will be our own moral legacy to our children and to the future of Maine. Thank you.